Have you ever caught your reflection in the mirror and quietly wondered, what happened to me? Not because you feel ancient, but because your body simply doesn't respond the way it did just a handful of years ago. Most men are told that this is just the way things go after 60. They hear the same tired phrase again and again, it's your age. Learn to accept it and move on. But what if that explanation is only a small piece of a much larger picture? What if one of the biggest reasons behind these changes has nothing to do with your age at all, but instead with the health of your blood vessels? Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 everyday fruits that research suggests may help support healthy blood flow. One of the most important foundations of erectile health after 60. These aren't expensive supplements, miracle pills, or internet gimmicks designed to empty your wallet. They're simple, ordinary foods that may already be sitting in your kitchen right now. And I want you to stay with me all the way until the very end, because in the final section, I'll share one simple habit that many of my patients overlooked for years. Once they changed it, they didn't just notice improvements in their circulation, they often felt more energetic throughout the entire day. That final tip surprises almost everyone who hears it. I'm Dr. Soap, Ryan Foster, and in nearly 30 years of working closely with older adults, I've learned something important. Most men don't actually want to talk about erectile problems. They'd rather change the subject entirely. They feel embarrassed, frustrated, or even deeply ashamed. But here's the honest truth. You are not alone in this. Thousands upon thousands of men over 60 experience changes in sexual function, and in many cases, those changes are closely connected to overall cardiovascular health. The encouraging news is that your body is often far more adaptable than you might think. Small daily habits can make a meaningful difference over time. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, because you're definitely going to want to write some of this down. Before we get to the very first fruit, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever noticed that your morning energy isn't quite what it used to be? Maybe climbing the stairs feels a little harder than it once did? Maybe your evening walks have gradually become shorter. Maybe you've noticed changes in intimacy that leave you quietly wondering whether your best years are already behind you. Now here's another question worth sitting with. What if all of those things were somehow connected to one another? Many people assume that erectile health has nothing to do with the rest of the body. But research tells us a very different story. Think of your circulation like the plumbing system running through your home. When the pipes are clean and the water flows smoothly, every single faucet works exactly the way it's supposed to. But when those pipes gradually become narrower or lose their flexibility, the water pressure drops noticeably. The same basic idea applies to your blood flow. Your body depends on healthy, flexible blood vessels to deliver oxygen and vital nutrients everywhere they're needed, including the delicate tissues involved in achieving an erection. Here's something many people never realize. The blood vessels involved in erectile function are much smaller than the arteries that supply your heart. So if your circulation begins becoming less efficient, where do you think your body might reveal the very first signs? Exactly. Sometimes the earliest warning sign isn't chest pain at all. It's a change in performance. That's precisely why so many healthcare professionals encourage men not to ignore these symptoms, but instead to view them as a valuable reason to pay closer attention to their overall health. Now, please don't misunderstand me here. I'm not claiming that eating one single fruit will magically erase erectile problems overnight. If anyone ever tells you there's one magical food that fixes everything instantly, they're selling you hope instead of science. Real health simply doesn't work that way. Your body responds to consistent habits, much like a garden responds to regular, gentle watering rather than one dramatic rainstorm. And that's exactly why today's 3 fruits truly matter. They're not magic, they're part of a larger lifestyle that supports healthier circulation over time. Let's begin with the very first fruit, watermelon. Now, I already know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, watermelon is mostly water and sugar. How on earth could that possibly help me? That's honestly one of the biggest myths I hear from my patients. Yes, watermelon is refreshing. Yes, it's naturally sweet. But hidden deep inside this simple fruit is a natural compound called citrulline. Don't let the unusual name intimidate you. Think of citrulline as a helpful delivery driver. Its entire job is to carry an important message throughout your body. After you eat watermelon, your body can convert some of that citrulline into another amino acid called arginine. Arginine then helps your body produce something remarkable called nitric oxide. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is nitric oxide? Wonderful question. Imagine you're standing in your garden holding a hose that's been squeezed tightly shut. Water barely trickles through the opening. But the very moment you loosen your grip on that hose, the water begins flowing much more freely again. Nitric oxide works in a remarkably similar way. It signals the muscles surrounding your blood vessels to relax, allowing your blood to move far more efficiently. Healthy circulation doesn't just matter for intimacy. It supports your heart, your brain, your muscles, and even your ability to enjoy a long, pleasant walk without feeling completely exhausted afterward. A study involving older adults found that improving nitric oxide production can support healthier blood vessel function over time. While watermelon certainly isn't a medicine and shouldn't ever replace treatments recommended by your own doctor, including foods that naturally support this pathway can absolutely be one meaningful piece of a heart-healthy lifestyle. Now here's something I genuinely want you to think about carefully. When was the very last time you actually chose watermelon specifically because you were thinking about your circulation? Most people eat it at a summer family barbecue or during a hot afternoon. Very few people ever think of it as something that may support vascular health. That's exactly why it gets overlooked so often. Another wonderful advantage is hydration. As we grow older, many people simply don't drink nearly enough water throughout the day. Even mild dehydration can leave you feeling sluggish and may affect how well your circulation responds. Because watermelon is over 90% water, it can help keep you hydrated while providing valuable vitamins and beneficial plant compounds all at the same time. Here's how I often suggest enjoying it. A bowl alongside your breakfast, a refreshing afternoon snack, blended into a smoothie without any added sugar, or paired with plain Greek yogurt for a balanced evening treat. One serving is roughly 1 to 2 cups. For most healthy adults, that's a very reasonable amount as part of an overall balanced diet. But I have another question for you. Do you usually avoid fruit entirely because you're worried about the sugar content? If so, please don't worry just yet. We'll talk about that in detail later in this video, because the answer isn't nearly as simple as most people believe. And trust me, the second fruit on today's list surprised even some of my patients who considered themselves genuine nutrition experts. The second fruit is one that countless people walk right past in the grocery store without giving it a single second thought: pomegranate. Now let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever looked at a pomegranate sitting there and thought, that's just too much work? I'll grab something easier instead. If you have, you are certainly not alone. Many of my patients tell me exactly the same thing. Those tiny seeds seem inconvenient, and because of that, this truly remarkable fruit often gets completely ignored. But here's what surprises most people: those little ruby red seeds are absolutely packed with natural antioxidants. Think of antioxidants as your body's dedicated maintenance crew. Every single day, your blood vessels are exposed to normal wear and tear from aging, stress, poor sleep, and unhealthy eating habits. Over time, that accumulated wear can make your blood vessels less flexible than they should be. Imagine an old garden hose that's been sitting out in the harsh sun for years. It becomes stiff and cracked, and it no longer bends the way it once did. Blood vessels can experience something quite similar as we age. Now here's the genuinely interesting part. The antioxidants found in pomegranate may help protect the delicate lining of your blood vessels from everyday damage. Scientists call this lining the endothelium. But don't worry about memorizing that name. Just picture it as the smooth inner surface that allows your blood to flow easily, almost like a freshly paved road instead of a road absolutely full of potholes. When that lining stays healthier, circulation may improve. And that's important for your heart, your brain, and yes, your sexual health too. A number of studies suggest that pomegranate may support healthy blood vessel function because of its exceptionally rich antioxidant content. It's not a cure for erectile dysfunction, and it certainly doesn't replace proper medical care. But it can be a smart addition to an overall heart-healthy eating pattern. Now let me ask you another question. Have you ever noticed that when your heart feels healthier, your energy seems to improve too? That's absolutely no coincidence. Your body doesn't separate your circulation into different departments. The same network of blood vessels supports your entire body all at once. That's precisely why healthy habits often improve more than just one area of your life. Here's another myth I hear constantly. Doctor, if it's natural, then surely I can eat as much as I want. Not necessarily true. Even the healthiest foods work best in reasonable portions. For most people, about half a cup of fresh pomegranate seeds or a small serving added to a meal is plenty. If you enjoy pomegranate juice, choose one without any added sugar and keep the serving moderate. And here's something genuinely important. If you're currently taking blood-thinning medication, or if you have kidney disease or another medical condition, always check with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes. Natural doesn't always mean appropriate for everyone, and your overall health matters most of all. Now let's make this practical. How can you actually eat pomegranate every day without ever getting bored of it? Sprinkle the seeds over your oatmeal in the morning. Mix them into plain Greek yogurt for a protein-rich breakfast. Add them to a fresh spinach salad at lunchtime, or simply enjoy a small bowl as an afternoon snack instead of reaching for cookies or candy. Simple, affordable, and no complicated recipes required whatsoever. Now I want you to think carefully about this. If your body depends on healthy circulation every single second of every single day, wouldn't it make perfect sense to feed it foods that support those blood vessels consistently, rather than only once in a great while? That's exactly what so many people miss entirely. They eat healthy on Monday, skip it completely on Tuesday, and forget about it by Wednesday. Then they wonder why absolutely nothing seems to change. Your body genuinely loves consistency. Think of it like watering a plant on your windowsill. You wouldn't pour 10 enormous buckets of water on it once a month and then expect it to thrive beautifully. A little water every single day works far, far better. The exact same principle applies to healthy eating. Small habits repeated day after day often produce far better results than dramatic changes that last only a single week before fizzling out. Now, before I reveal the third fruit, let me ask you just one more question. What do you honestly think damages blood vessels faster? Is it simply the natural process of getting older, or is it years of unhealthy habits quietly adding up over time? The answer might genuinely surprise you. Aging is only one small piece of the puzzle. Research continues to clearly show that lifestyle choices, things like smoking, uncontrolled diabetes, high blood pressure, poor sleep, and a lack of physical activity can have a major impact on your blood vessel health. And here's the wonderfully encouraging news. Many of those factors can genuinely be improved, not overnight, but step by patient step. That's exactly what gives me so much hope for my patients. I've personally seen men in their late 60s and 70s start walking regularly, gradually improve their eating habits, sleep better at night, and work closely with their doctors to manage blood pressure and cholesterol. A few months later, many of them tell me they feel more energetic, more confident, and far more like themselves again. No miracle, no secret formula, just consistent, healthy habits supported by good medical care. Now here comes the fruit that surprises almost everyone I mention it to. In fact, when I bring it up during appointments, many people actually smile because they already have it sitting in their refrigerator at home. They simply never realized just how beneficial it could truly be. And believe it or not, one large study connected this very fruit with a lower risk of erectile difficulties in men who regularly included it in their diets. Let's talk about the third fruit now, and believe it or not, this one is probably already sitting in your refrigerator right now. Berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. They're small, wonderfully colorful, delicious, and incredibly easy to eat. But please don't let their tiny size fool you for a moment. Sometimes the smallest things in life make the biggest possible difference. Let me ask you a question. When was the very last time you ate a handful of berries specifically because you wanted to improve your circulation? Most people never do. They eat them simply because they taste good, but research strongly suggests there's much more to the story than meets the eye. Berries are naturally rich in beneficial compounds called flavonoids. Now don't worry about remembering that particular name. Think of flavonoids as tiny bodyguards traveling faithfully through your bloodstream every single day. Their entire job is to help protect your blood vessels from the everyday wear and tear they constantly face. Imagine that your blood vessels are like roads leading into every single neighborhood across a busy city. When those roads are smooth and well-maintained, delivery trucks always arrive right on time. Food arrives. Medicine arrives. Everything simply works. But what happens when those roads develop cracks, heavy traffic, and serious damage? Deliveries slow down dramatically. Exactly right. Your circulation works in a remarkably similar way. Healthy blood vessels make it far easier for oxygen and nutrients to reach every corner of your body. That includes your heart, your brain, your muscles, and yes, the tissues involved in healthy erections. Now here's something truly fascinating. A large study following thousands of men found that those who regularly consumed flavonoid-rich foods, including berries, were noticeably less likely to experience erectile difficulties over time compared with men who rarely ate them at all. But notice something important here. The study did not claim that berries were some kind of miracle cure. Science almost never speaks in that language. Instead, it clearly showed that healthy eating patterns are associated with healthier blood vessels and that healthier blood vessels support healthier circulation. That's a very important distinction to understand. Now let me ask you something. How many advertisements have you seen over the years promising instant results? One pill, one powder, one secret ingredient, 7 days, 10 days, miracles guaranteed. Here's what I've learned after nearly 30 years of caring for older adults. Your body doesn't respond to advertisements. It responds to habits. The decisions you make today quietly become the health you experience months from now. That's exactly why I encourage my patients to stop chasing quick fixes altogether. Instead, build daily routines your body can genuinely depend upon. Now, here's another myth I hear regularly. Doctor, frozen berries just aren't as healthy as the fresh ones. Actually, in many cases, that's simply not true at all. Frozen berries are usually picked when they're perfectly ripe and then frozen quickly, which helps preserve many of their valuable nutrients. They're often far more affordable, they last so much longer, and they help reduce food waste too. So if fresh berries happen to be expensive where you live, frozen berries can be an absolutely excellent option. Health doesn't have to be expensive at all, it simply has to be consistent. Now let's make this genuinely practical. How can you include berries throughout your entire day? Add a handful of blueberries to your oatmeal at breakfast. Mix strawberries into plain Greek yogurt. Blend frozen berries into a smoothie with low-fat milk. Sprinkle raspberries over whole grain cereal. Or simply enjoy one cup as an afternoon snack instead of reaching for cookies or candy. Simple, quick, no complicated recipes and no expensive equipment needed. Now I want to ask you something that many men never once stop to consider. Which is truly more important? Eating one perfectly healthy meal once a week, or eating reasonably healthy meals every single day? I think you already know the answer deep down. Your body rewards consistency above almost everything else. Think carefully about brushing your teeth. You don't brush for 3 straight hours on Sunday, so you can skip the rest of the entire week. You brush for a few minutes every single day. Healthy eating works in exactly the same way. Small actions repeated consistently produce far bigger results than occasional bursts of motivation ever could. Now let's clear up another common concern. Many people over 60 avoid fruit entirely because they're worried about the sugar. Have you ever thought that very thing yourself? If so, you're certainly not alone at all. But here's the important distinction. Whole fruit is simply not the same thing as candy. Whole fruit contains natural sugars wrapped carefully inside fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds. Think of fiber like a time-release capsule. Instead of flooding your bloodstream all at once, it helps slow your digestion, allowing your body to absorb those nutrients far more gradually. That's one big reason why eating a whole apple is completely different from drinking a sugary soda. However, if you have diabetes or prediabetes, portion size still matters greatly. Always follow the guidance of your own healthcare provider or a registered dietitian. Healthy foods are still healthiest when eaten in the right amounts. Now let's pause together for just a moment. We've talked about watermelon, we've talked about pomegranate, we've talked about berries. At first glance, they all seem completely different from one another. Different colors, different flavors, different textures entirely. So what do they all have in common? Here's the answer. Every single one of them contains natural compounds that support overall cardiovascular health. And that matters enormously because your circulatory system doesn't work in separate, isolated pieces. The same network of blood vessels carries oxygen and nutrients throughout your entire body. So when you support your heart, you're simultaneously supporting your brain, your muscles, your kidneys, your energy, and your sexual health. Everything is connected. That's why I always remind my patients not to focus on just one symptom alone. Instead of asking, "Doctor, what can I eat for stronger erections?" Try asking instead, "Doctor, how can I improve the health of my entire circulatory system?" That's a far more powerful question, because healthy circulation benefits every single part of your life. Now here's another question for you. How many hours do you spend sitting down every single day? Please be honest with yourself. 4, 6, 8, even more than that? Research clearly shows that long periods of sitting can reduce healthy circulation. But the good news is that you don't need to join a gym or lift heavy weights. Simply standing up every hour, walking around your home, working in the garden, taking a short walk after dinner, or doing a few gentle chair exercises while watching television can all genuinely encourage better blood flow. Researchers call this a synergistic effect. That's just a scientific way of saying that 2 healthy habits work far better together than either one does alone. Healthy fruit plus regular movement, better nutrition plus better circulation. Small changes working beautifully together. And here's something that still amazes me even after all these years. Some men spend hundreds of dollars searching desperately for miracle supplements on the internet, yet they completely ignore the simple habits backed by years of solid research. Not because those habits don't work, but because they seem far too ordinary. Never, ever underestimate the power of ordinary habits repeated every single day, because extraordinary health is so often built quietly upon ordinary choices. Now, before we finish this discussion today, there's one final piece of the puzzle that almost everyone overlooks completely. It isn't another fruit. It isn't another supplement. In fact, it's something you already do every single day without even thinking about it. And once you understand how to use it fully to your advantage, these 3 fruits can become part of a routine that's even more effective for supporting your overall health. Now let's talk about that one thing almost everyone overlooks. It's not another fruit. It's not a vitamin. And it's definitely not an expensive supplement of any kind. It's timing. For years, many people believed that as long as you ate healthy foods, the time of day didn't really matter at all. But research now suggests that consistency, and in some cases, the timing, can help you build healthier habits that support your overall cardiovascular health. Here's what I tell my patients. Don't think of these fruits as a once-in-a-while treat. Think of them instead as a genuine part of your daily routine. Just like brushing your teeth. Just like taking your prescribed medications. Just like watering a plant faithfully. Small actions repeated consistently produce results that occasional big efforts simply cannot ever match. So when is the best time? Many of my patients enjoy berries or watermelon with their breakfast because it starts the day with fiber, hydration, and important nutrients. Pomegranate makes a wonderful afternoon snack or a colorful addition to lunch. The exact time isn't nearly as important as simply making these fruits a regular part of your week. Now let me ask you something. How many healthy habits have you started in the past only to quit after just a few short days? It genuinely happens to all of us. We're excited on Monday, still motivated on Tuesday, but by Friday life gets busy, and by the following week we've forgotten all about it. The problem isn't that healthy foods don't work. The problem is that consistency quietly disappears. Please remember this. Your body is listening carefully to what you do every day, not to what you do once in a great while. Now let's talk about dosage. People often ask me, "Doctor, how much should I actually eat?" The answer is surprisingly simple. Aim for roughly 1 to 2 servings of fruit each day as part of a balanced diet. For example, 1 cup of berries, 1 to 2 cups of watermelon, or about half a cup of pomegranate seeds. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, or another medical condition, your healthcare provider may recommend different portions, so always follow their advice first. Here's another question. When do people usually expect to see results? Many folks expect changes in 3 days or 1 single week, but that's simply not how the human body works. Think of improving your circulation like growing a garden. You plant the seeds today. You water them faithfully every day. You don't wake up tomorrow morning expecting a full harvest. With consistent healthy habits, many people begin noticing improvements in their overall energy and well-being over several weeks. Every person is genuinely different, and there's no guaranteed timeline, but patience is one of the most powerful parts of this entire process. Think of it exactly like taking a daily vitamin. You don't expect one vitamin to change your entire life overnight. Its real value comes from taking it consistently. Healthy eating works precisely the same way. Now, let me share one of my absolute favorite tips with you. If it's possible for you, take a gentle 20 to 30-minute walk after one of your meals. Nothing intense, no running, no heavy lifting, just a comfortable, pleasant walk around your neighborhood. Or spend a little time gardening, walk your dog, or do a few chair exercises while listening to some music. Researchers call this a synergistic effect. That's simply a scientific way of saying 2 healthy habits work far better together than either one alone. Healthy foods support your body. Gentle movement supports your circulation. Together, they may provide greater benefits than either habit could ever provide by itself. And here's something I truly hope you'll remember long after this video ends. Your goal isn't perfection. Your goal is simply progress. If yesterday wasn't your healthiest day, that's perfectly okay. Just start today. If you missed a walk this morning, take one this evening instead. If you skipped your fruit yesterday, enjoy some tomorrow. Small improvements repeated patiently over months and years can genuinely add up in truly meaningful ways. I've personally seen many older adults regain their confidence, not because they stumbled upon some miracle, but because they became consistent. They chose healthier meals. They stayed active. They slept better at night. They worked closely with their healthcare providers to manage their blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol. Over time, they didn't just feel healthier. They felt genuinely more like themselves again. And that is exactly what I want for you too. Not false promises, not overnight miracles, just real, lasting health built one healthy choice at a time. Now, I would truly love to hear from you. Which of these 3 fruits do you already enjoy the most in your own life? Watermelon, pomegranate, or berries? Tell me right down in the comments below. I genuinely read every single comment, and I truly enjoy hearing about your personal experiences and learning what topics you'd like me to cover next. If you found this video helpful in any way, please share it with a husband, a brother, a father, or a good friend over 60 who might genuinely benefit from these simple, science-based tips. And if you're truly committed to staying active, independent, and healthy for many wonderful years to come, please don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community. Every single week, I share practical advice to help you take good care of your heart, your body, and your overall quality of life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Ryan Foster. Please take good care of yourself, keep moving forward, keep nourishing your body with healthy, wholesome foods. And always remember this, your age does not define your future in any way. The healthy choices you make today can genuinely help shape a stronger, brighter tomorrow. I'll see you in the very next video.